Welcome to the Stop Dieting podcast, hosted by best-selling, award-winning author and renowned weight loss expert, David Medansky. If you struggle to lose weight or you've lost weight and gained it back, you'll want to listen each week. Each week, you will learn tips for healthy weight loss without going on a diet, without having to follow an exercise program, without counting calories, or having to purchase special meals or products. The Stop Dieting podcast is more than just about healthy and sustainable weight loss. You will also learn how you can have more energy, feel better, get rid of brain fog, and improve your overall health. Stay tuned for another informative and insightful episode. And if you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe and share this with your friends.
Hi, this is David Medansky. Welcome to another Stop Dieting podcast. Our guest today is Aaron Waddell, and Aaron had his own weight loss journey, which we'll get into. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Aaron, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, David. It's great to be here. So I'll just a little bit about myself. My name is Aaron Waddell. As Dave said, I help entrepreneur dads to lose weight and ignite their business. And my goal for 2022 is to help 200 entrepreneur dads to lose weight and get that that life that they deserve.
So you had your own weight loss journey. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So let me start and would tell you that I've always been into health and fitness my whole life, really, from an early age. And I'll just tell you a quick story. When I was 12 years old, my mother came to me and she needed a workout partner, and she had struggled with weight herself, and as her mother did before her, and for most of her life, and was trying to get in shape. She was in Weight Watchers and all that, and she wanted to get in shape, and she asked me if I'd be a workout partner, and I really wasn't excited by it. I was really introverted and, kept to my computers and books and things like that. But I was like, well, you don't tell your mother no, basically. And and she also offered to give me 10 cents for every time I worked out with her. So I took her up on it and did it with her. And we did that for a few months. I didn't really think anything of it, but the time came, and the spring came around, and we played softball in gym class. And my first time up to bat, well, see, I'd never been great in softball or anything, but I enjoyed it, playing with my friends and all, but wasn't great at it. And I got up there the first time at bat. I waited for my pitch, and I got it, and I cranked it over the right fielder's head for a home run.
Wow.
And I was just floored. Like, as I'd sprint around the bases because we didn't have a fence or anything, but I ended up with a home run on it. And it was just, I was like, wow, I did this just by training with my mom. And it really just, I was hooked from that moment on. And I got into bodybuilding later, and started, my mom did as well. We would sometimes train together, and that was really cool. But I'll say that later, as I got older, and I started a family and all that, I kind of fell out of those habits, and as we all do, and got out of shape, gained weight. I know you've had, similar story. And I tried to go back to what I knew, everything I'd learned. Like, I took nutrition class in college. I was a health science minor, and I thought I knew really everything about what there was to know about, health and fitness. And so I tried to get in shape. I tried to, restrict my diet. I got like My Fitness Pal and all those things, and weighed my food and the whole bit. And really and I tried to exercise. I exercised like a ton. I would get up early in the morning to walk or work out, whatever.
Was that
before
working
work.
for you?
Well, David, it did in a way, because I did lose weight. I won't say I didn't, but it was totally at the expense of my health.
Okay.
I just ground my body down to a nub, basically. I like my testosterone tanked. Like I had as low as 222 was my testosterone recorded when I was like, I think I was like 39 or some 38, 39, somewhere in there. And then on top of all that, I started putting weight on again, and I couldn't stop it.
So
And even though,
what
yeah,
I hear you're saying is that even though you know what to do, you weren't doing it. Is that correct?
yeah, I thought I knew what to do. I'll say that. Like I was following the standard advice, eating all the whole grains, eating very, very little meat, the things like that, eating very little fat, all the things like that. And it really did a number on me. I'll say that.
Yeah, because
And I was hungry all the time, no
that's
energy.
yeah, that's one of the things that people don't realize is both you and I were always fit and healthy when we were younger. However, like you mentioned, life gets in the way. And before we realized it, with family obligations and work responsibilities, we stopped our exercise and we stopped eating properly, and the weight crept up on us. And even though we all know what to do, sometimes we just don't do it. So
Yeah.
you lost the weight, and like a lot of people who go on a diet, it's detrimental to their health because, as
Yep.
we know, diets are temporary, extreme,
Yep.
hard to
Yep.
stick with, and a lot of them are potentially dangerous. And like you mentioned, you're either miserable or hungry all the time, or both.
Or both. That's absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're
And
on
I
this weight
also,
loss journey, and you're going, and what happened next?
so what happened next is, yeah. So I realized that, I mean, I was kind of accepting it. Like, I'm just gonna not, I'm gonna be in poor shape and kind of just be old at, 40. And a lot of people think that, well, I'm an old man now. I'm 40 years old. And as we know, it's just ridiculous. But that's what you believe. And but the thing came to me one day. I was walking into work, and I worked in IT. I still do. And I was walking to work one day, and the guy in front of me, who is a friend of mine, someone I knew, a colleague and friend, he kind of stopped short and collapsed from a heart attack at my feet.
Wow, he died.
He no thankfully he survived. He did. We got him help. We got him, did CPR on him and got him to the hospital, and he made it. But it just rocked my world.
Was he younger or older than you?
He was probably 10 years older than I was at the time, I would say. So probably like 50. I was like 40.
Relatively
And
young. Yeah.
relatively young. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't figure this out, it's going to be me. And I've got young kids. I can't, I've got to be there for them. That's, so I figure I got to do something.
Yeah.
And
And as you know, that was my big motivation, was being told by the doctor I had a 95% chance for a fatal heart attack, and give me two options: lose weight or find a new doctor, because he didn't want me dying. So you had your wake up call through the expense of someone else.
yeah, it was used on someone else. And yeah, I mean, like I said, thankfully, it wasn't fatal for him, but it was definitely a wake up call. So, and I'll tell you what I'd heard. I just like that week, or maybe it was after it, I'm not sure, but it was right around that time. I would listen to podcasts. I love podcasts. I have my own. I listened to thousands of podcasts, and I was listening to Adam
What's the name of your
Carolla.
podcast for the
My
audience?
podcast is the Diesel Dads podcast, and I've done 12 episodes so far. I'm loving it, and yeah, please, if your listeners, check it out. I'd just be so grateful. But anyways, and so anyways, we were talking. So I was listening to the Adam Carolla podcast. I was a big fan of his podcast. I don't know if you've ever listened to him, but he had this guy, Vinny Tortorich, on there. I don't know if you may have heard of him. He's got a pretty big podcast of his own. It's called the Angriest Trainer podcast. But I was listening to him, and he was talking about this like high fat, low carb diet that that he believed in, and it helped all these people. And when I heard of it, it was like it totally went against everything I had been taught about nutrition and everything. That saturated fat's bad, the meat's bad, the grains are, you want to eat whatever 8 to 12 servings of grains or whatever a day. And like, this makes no sense at all. But I like, I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna see what it does. And I I felt so much better after I started that I just couldn't believe it, really. Like I instantly, the hunger just went away. The like all my brain fog, the really bad brain fog, went away. I was more alert. I could make it through the day without having to resort to having a snack or a nap or whatever, coffee, that sort of thing. And I was just really, really impressed, and I really stuck to it since then. Not I've evolved my thinking a bit, and tweaked it to my own needs, but basically follow that template, of more of and I go more towards an animal-based diet now, and though I do eat a substantial amount of fruit. And it's really been great for me.
Well, that's good. How much weight did you lose eventually?
So yeah, so I'll say that so I lost probably around 30 pounds, like all told. And since then I've put most of it back on in muscle, but
Well, there's a
but
big difference in muscle and fat,
it's
because
a
as you
whole,
know,
it's a very different thing.
even though they weigh the same, muscle takes up a lot less room than the fat does.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So
And
do
it's
you exercise a lot then?
David, I have found a routine that enables me to exercise a minimal amount and still make progress. And because that was important to me, that I'm a busy person. I've got a lot of things to do, family and everything. And I
Well,
realized
let me ask you this question,
yeah,
because a lot of people feel it's important to exercise in order to lose weight. When you were shedding your pounds, were you exercising a lot, or was it done mostly through food and beverages?
no, really, I wasn't exercising much. I really, and I tell people that I'd rather you start off not exercising, and as you fix your diet, the energy will come, and you'll want to start moving. And like in my mind, like I couldn't hold myself back after a few weeks, and I realized I had all this energy, and I wanted to be doing stuff. And so I just start walking more, and getting back into training, intelligently. And yeah.
That's great, because that's what I advocate too for people, is exercising to lose weight is a big myth. And
Yes.
contestants on The Biggest Loser are the best examples, because most of them have regained all their weight, some
Yeah.
even more. They're just not able to go to the gym for 4 or 5 hours and exercise when they have work and family obligations. The other thing is, I know that a lot of people say we'll set a New Year's resolution to get in shape and lose weight by exercising. They go for 3 or 4 weeks, and they're doing everything right, yet the scale's not moving. And so it's confusing to them, because like, well, I'm doing everything, what's going on? And what I tell people is, you're replacing the fat with the muscle, and they weigh the same, but the fat takes a lot more room. So don't go by the scale, because the scale will lie to you. Go by your clothes and how they fit. And when it starts feeling looser, that's when you're doing everything right. So that's important for people in the audience to understand. No, that's great.
Yeah. I'll even go so far as to say that I weigh myself now. I weigh myself once a year. that honestly, that's it. I weigh myself at my annual physical, because and it doesn't vary by more than a pound or two, because
Yeah.
that's because I don't need that anymore. It doesn't. I know exactly how I look and how I feel is, and how my clothes fit. I can absolutely tell. It's
Yeah, that's great.
you
You also
start.
mentioned you were walking a lot, and I also tell people instead of exercising, which is very important for overall health, fitness, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but walking is one of the best physical activities people can do. And I know Rebel Wilson lost 77 pounds in a year simply by
yeah,
walking an hour a day. And another actress lost a lot of weight. However, she wasn't walking for a full hour. What she was doing was when she got a 10-minute break, instead of going on social media or texting friends, she would go for a 10-minute walk, and she'd do that 4 or 5 times a day. So in essence, she's walking 40 or 50 minutes. What's
yeah,
important to remember for the audience is that if you don't have a full hour, you can break it up into smaller increments throughout the
for
day.
sure, for sure.
And you
And
mentioned you keep your exercise uh, to a minimum. You're not, how
yeah,
often
yeah.
or how long do you exercise for?
So let me tell you. So there's one thing I recommend to anyone who wants to start walking and get in shape is get a dog, because that because that'll keep you moving. Like, that's it. That's my main form of exercise, is walking my dogs. I do that maybe 3 times a day, and that's enough,
What kind of
really.
dogs do you have?
I have 4 dogs. I have 4 dogs. I have 2 Chihuahua mixes, and I have a multi-poo, and then I have another one that we don't know what it is, some kind of hound. But
Oh, okay, because we have 3 dogs. Although when I walk my dogs in the morning, they go so slow, they stop at every bush to relieve themselves. So
oh yeah,
it's not effective for me. I have to go for my walk and my hike after I take
it
them out.
depends on your intent. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we also have we have some pretty major hills in our neighborhood, so it's a bit of a workout for that for reason, anyways. But and I do that, and then I do mobility work daily, which I think is really important and something I didn't really focus on that much before, but I've really
When you talk
put that
about
into my
mobility
routine.
work, could you explain to the audience what you mean by that?
Yeah, I do a routine. I follow this guy's Strength Side on YouTube, and he's got some morning routines that I do. It's like stretching, and it's mostly just stretching, but I've improved by doing that, I've improved my flexibility so much, and things like that, and
Is it a
really just
form of Pilates or yoga or combination or something similar?
maybe it's similar to yoga, kind of. He doesn't call it that, but yeah, it's some of the same kind of stuff. And you're doing downward dog and those sort of things, but and I it's not a big thing, but I really like it, and it's helped me a lot. And so I do that, and then I do a strength routine once a week.
Now,
And
getting back to the stretching in the morning, how long does that take you? Just for the audience, so
yeah,
they
like
know.
it's like a all told, I do like the stretching is about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
And you do
And
that at home.
hmm yeah, I
So,
just do that just before I start my day.
well, the point of getting across to the audience is they don't have to drive to a gym to exercise, and they don't
Absolutely.
spend hours doing it. It's just, 10, 15 minutes in the morning, following a stretching routine or an exercise that suitable for them, because everybody's different.
Exactly.
And that's adequate enough. So that's great
Yes.
advice from you.
Yeah, I do. In fact, I don't belong to a gym at all. I do all my training at home, and I love it. Honestly, it's just so much more of a hassle. You have to go to the gym and everything, and I have all I need here, and it just fits really well in my schedule. And so yeah, I was saying that I do strength training once a week, and it's called Body by Science is the philosophy that I follow, and it's I basically I'm done in less than 15 minutes with my strength training, and it's a very intense workout, and and it's been great for me.
Does that use weights then?
It can. I don't because I don't use weights. I do like body weight. I do like pull-ups, dips, and sissy squats, things like that. It's
Okay.
all I have like a setup in my garage with a pull-up bar and a set of rings and what's called a Nordic curl board that I improvised in my garage, and that's what I use to work out with.
Yeah, the reason I ask is when people hear strength training, the first thing they usually think of is, lifting weights.
Yep.
So that's not accurate in this case.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah, if you like to use weights, and like I did at one time, I really did, but there's so many more options. There's body weight stuff you can do. You can use your body as resistance so dynamically and so effectively that I tell people that you don't need any equipment. I can show you how to train, effectively in less than 15 minutes with no equipment, and I'll get you the results you want.
Yeah, I agree with you. In fact, I do push-ups and I use a milk crate that I got from the grocery store. So it didn't cost me anything. Of course, I asked if I could have them. They said, sure. And
To put your hands on?
No, I put my feet up.
Oh, your feet on. So you're elevating.
I'm elevating.
Well, what's one thing people don't realize is you can make push-ups easier too. So if you use that same milk crate and you put your hands on it and you make it easier, or you can do it against the wall. And by using that different forms of leverage, you can vary the resistance to a level that's appropriate for you. Because a lot of people, I think they just go on there and say, I'm trying to do push-ups, I can't do them, so I give up. I mean, I've seen people do that. Like, I'll never be able to do a push-up.
Well,
like,
that's interesting because I started doing my push-ups after my weight loss, and my wife said I'm not able to do push-ups, so she started, with her knees bent, doing the ladies push-ups, and now she's doing full push-ups, and she's built up to it. She's doing more than what she thought, and that's what I tell people is do 1 or 2, 3 or 4 to start with, and build up. And that's what I did. I didn't start doing all my push-ups right away. I built up 5 at a time gradually.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like, if you have you want to get in shape, do you have a wall? Then you can do push-ups. That's why I'll tell them to start with just leaning against the wall and push yourself away from the wall.
That's
because if you're really heavy, that's going to be all you're gonna be able to do, and that's fine, but you can start somewhere.
Well, yeah, and the walk around the block, walk for 5 minutes
around the block,
just to do something. And the other thing is with the milk crate, because I put a board over it, I can do steps on it where I do 10 or 15 on each leg, and it's like a step master. And like you said, you don't need to get expensive equipment. You don't need to go to the gym. You can do little things like that, and it improves your cardio, and it improves your other parts of the body for your core too.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'll say, that just talking about cardio there. That's one big myth that I see people have, is that they think it's got to be super intense, and that's just totally wrong. Like, in fact, if you do try to do like super intense cardio, what you end up doing is making yourself more hungry, because you'll burn off so much sugar, and then you're just like, oh man, I'm starving now, and it's then you got to restrain yourself from eating or whatever, and it just works at cross purposes.
Oh yeah. So do you drink a lot of water?
I drink a fair amount of water. I'll say I don't make a point of it, but I do recognize that it's really important to get your electrolytes. That's what I've found, is that's what keeps you hydrated, really. Because if you just keep drinking water, it'll just flush out of your system constantly, and you just have to keep drinking it if you don't have the electrolytes to balance it out. And so that's why I make a point of drinking. I drink, it's called Ketorade is the drink I use. I may use sparkling water, apple cider vinegar, and like sodium and salt and potassium.
Yeah.
And I drink that all day, and it does good.
Yeah. See,
Even when
I have a different approach to it because I know that in researching for the books, 75% of the US population is chronically dehydrated because people
Mhm.
drink too much soda or diet soda or fruit juices or fruit flavored beverages. So I
Yeah.
advocate drinking a lot more water because there's a direct correlation to being overweight and being dehydrated. And that's why 72% of the US adult population is overweight. A lot of times when people are thirsty, they think they're hungry. So they'll eat
Yeah.
instead of drink the water. The other thing is you got to be careful with the electrolytes. I know you read labels and are careful what you put in to your
Mhm.
body. The Gatorade that is out there is a different formula than what the Gatorade was back in the 1970s when they first created it. So
Yeah.
they're using a lot more chemicals now than they were
Oh yeah.
back then. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's why
electrolytes
I
are
make
very
my own.
important. Yeah,
That's why I make my own with good salt and like and the new salt or whatever, the potassium supplement. So yeah, you don't want to mess around with Gatorade for sure.
no, definitely. So
Bunch of garbage.
how can people get in contact with you? How can dads reach out
Yeah,
to you?
yeah. So David, yeah, the best place for people to follow me is on Twitter. I'm really active there. I do a lot, and my handle is at Diesel Dads. So you can find me there. Please give me a
And that's
follow.
at Diesel Dads.
Yeah, DIESELDADS. Yes. Kept my program, as I said, the Diesel Dad podcast. That's who I work. That's who I work with. Just trying to create the dads that want to get in shape and have a better life for their families. So
Do you work with moms at all or just dads?
not at this point, no. But I'm not that I would turn away anyone want to work with me, but that's where my focus is. And maybe at some point, maybe I'll change to my thought is I say good morning diesel dads and magnetic moms. That's my that's
Okay, so
my
you don't
slogan.
discriminate per se.
I don't discriminate. No. But those are people I feel I can help the best.
Well,
So
I guess because you can relate more being a father
exactly.
or dad yourself.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
kids do you have?
I have 2 kids. They're 17 and 19.
Oh,
2 girls.
great
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yep. It can be a handful at times, but
Well, I understand that too.
they're good girls. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I was going to say, just as I was saying, if you follow me on Twitter, you can subscribe to my newsletter in my bio there. I talk about health, fitness, personal growth, and entrepreneurship. Those are the topics I love to discuss and talk about them all the time. And you can also find me in Wellness Society University, which is it's an engagement community on Discord that we've created, and myself and 7 other just top flight coaches. And we just cover all the areas of wellness, from emotional to spiritual to physical. And we just got a great group of people there. It's over 100 members now, and I just love you to check it out. And you can find a link to that and all my other things from the link in Twitter there, or we'll post in the show notes.
Yes, and then that's Wellness Society University.com is where they can go.
No, it's not. There's a link because it's on Discord, so it's better if they just follow the link. Then there'll be a button there to click on to join.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, those will be in the show notes.
Yes.
Well, awesome. And
Awesome.
as you have gotten older and you're feeling better, so you no longer feel like an old man.
Yeah. And I would say that, just to your point there, that I have, like, my testosterone has rebounded, and that was something that like I said, I was challenged with that for a while until I made some tweaks to my diet, and it specifically was adding in a fruit, I believe, and not trying to stick to a ketogenic diet that I think helped there. and I had some good advice that I followed to that and took advantage of it. And now my testosterone is it's over 500, is 513 in my last checkup, which is, it's not super high, but it's not low, and I'm very happy with that.
Well, that's awesome. The reason I bring up age is, being 67, I tell people it's just a number, and it doesn't matter
Yes.
what your age is, because you can always improve and your body can repair itself. So don't ever feel like,
absolutely.
I'm too old to start, because you're not. And you're a good example of that. Yeah.
No, you're not. Yeah, you're not told. You're never told to start. I mean, until our last day, that you're not too old to start.
Yeah, and as you know, I just finished hiking Kilimanjaro.
I know, that was amazing. That's great pictures.
So thank you. Yeah. So when that's why I tell people, look, if I'm able to do it, you're able to do it too. So
yes. Well, thank you for serving as inspiration.
Well, I appreciate your being a guest today. Again, people can reach out to you on Twitter at Diesel Dads is your handle.
Yes.
And follow the links in the show notes. And I appreciate your being a guest today. And thanks so much for sharing your weight loss journey and some of your knowledge.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Stop Dieting podcast. Remember to like and subscribe so you won't miss a single episode to get more healthy eating and lifestyle tips. Motivate and inspire others to be healthy by sharing with your friends.